Good morning, guys. All right, so I asked you guys in a previous video, I'll throw it up here, what you guys wanted to see from me, what kind of videos you wanted to see. And pretty much I think the number one, other than canning, the number one video was about my weight loss and my health journey. So I'm going to try to film that today for you this morning while it's a little calm and quiet in the house. And I'm going to try not to use a lot of ums because I actually recorded this last night for you and it was way too long. It was like 45 minutes because I start talking to you guys and I could talk forever. So I'm really going to try to streamline it. I'm going to try not to get off on a tangent on a whole lot of different topics. And I'm really just going to try to narrow it down, keep focused on the weight loss. There you go. Weight loss and how my fibromyalgia and my osteoarthritis is going. For those of you who don't know, hi, I'm Heather, the Needy Homesteader. I've been on YouTube for, since 2007. Well, 2006, but I opened a channel in 2007. So I've been on here forever and a day. And for those of you who don't know, I have fibromyalgia and osteoarthritis in my hands, in my hips, and in my left knee. So I live in a chronic pain with a chronic pain condition. I live in chronic pain, and I've talked about it quite a bit on my channel. And I have a lot of pain warriors out there that follow me and watch me and are right there in the fight with me. So, okay. Many of you wanted to know how this all started for me. And I will tell you, last January into February into March, I started gaining a little bit of weight. Let's track back. My normal weight, well, my normal size, I'll say that, is around size 14, 16. And then I had two babies late in life, around in my 40s. And that size went up to an 18, 20. And then around Christmas time, after the holidays, I started noticing I needed, a 3X or a size 22. My 20s were getting a little snug. And I thought, oh, am I shrinking things? Go out shopping. Oh, they make things smaller now. No, I was just gaining a little bit of weight. And I will tell you that my fibromyalgia pain played a big role in that because I couldn't move. And for those of you who have fibromyalgia, you know that when you have a flare-up, you're pretty much, I want to say, crippled. It's crippling. It's crippling. I got to the point where I was, crawling along the walls. I needed help to get up off of the dinner table, to walk to the bedroom. I needed assistance because I was in so much pain all the time. I could barely move. I was like frozen, and I liken it to being like the Tin Man without oil. You're just frozen. You can't move your arm. You can't move your legs. You can barely stand. You can barely walk, and everything hurts. You avoid crowds a lot because you can't take people bumping into you or rubbing up against you in a constant fashion. So those of you who are out there with fibromyalgia, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I really think unless you experience it, you can't even comprehend how painful it can actually be. So during the winter months, I was really struggling with fibro flares. And because I was struggling with fibro flares, I was gaining a little bit more extra weight. And I kind of sunk into a little bit, I don't want to say a depression, but I was very hopeless. That's how I felt. I felt very hopeless. I felt like I was trapped in this pain body that I could not escape. And I couldn't do the things I wanted to do. Everything had to be scheduled in my day. Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead has fibromyalgia, and I love her analogy about the spoons. She only has so many spoons to dish out, dole out every day to different tasks, and then at the end of the day you run out of spoons and you run out of energy, right? So that's where I was. And mid-March, I had such a bad fibro flare. It sent me to bed, and I was actually starting to homeschool from my bedroom because I couldn't get up. I couldn't move. I couldn't walk down the stairs. So many times if I had to do laundry, I would try to get it done in the morning, mid-afternoon, where I could kind of climb the stairs, and then in the afternoon, evening, like, everybody had to pitch in and help me finish it. So mid-March, I had a really bad flare that sent me to bed for a couple of days. And bottom line, one morning, my husband was up getting ready for work, had his suit on, he had a big meeting, and I couldn't get out of bed to use the bathroom. And so I had to ask him to help me. And by the time he got me out of bed and pretty much almost carried me to the bathroom and assisted me and then got me back into bed, he was like, "I'm so sorry, babe. I wish I could stay. I'm a half hour late for this big meeting, and I gotta go." And I sat on the edge of this bed right here, and I stared out this window, and I watched him zoom out of the driveway, knowing that I made him late, knowing that I affected his work, his job, people that were depending on him, because I was lacking. That's how I felt. That's how I felt. And I just cried, just bawled. In fact, I cried all day in bed. And I just thought to myself, is this as good as it gets, Heather? Like, is this it? Is this your life? Is this as good as it gets for you? What is it going to be like? You know, at that time I was 45, going into 46, and thinking, how are you going to be at 50, 55? Are you even going to be here? It was so daunting and so depressing. And so I felt such guilt and shame and embarrassment, and there was nothing I could do. I was trapped in this body, this pain suit, and I didn't know how to get out. And in the middle of sobbing my eyes out, I reached out to a girlfriend, Yami, and she has a channel. I will leave it up above for you guys. I think it's called The Walkers, Hanging with the Walkers, I think it is now. She used to be 8 Kids and Counting. And I knew that she had a heart condition and that she was facing open heart surgery. And I had been watching her on Instagram change her life, get energized, I knew she was bedridden for a while. She used to take all this medication. And she was so inspiring to me. So I reached out to her and I said, "Yami, girl, I need help. I need help." I'm sobbing. I'm like, "I need help. Can you please share with me what you're doing? What are you doing?" And she said, "Oh, girl, I'm doing Beachbody and Shakeology." And I was like, "Okay, what is that? Send me everything that you have. I have to read. I have to research, but send it to me because I need help. I need something." And from there, many of you had reached out to me and told me about sugar, and that, you know, "Heather, did you ever try not, you know, to get off sugar, you know, processed white sugar?" And to be honest with you, what? Sugar's my middle name. I can't get off sugar. In fact, at my doctor's office, the nurse that was, you know, that checked us out, she's like, "Oh my gosh, you have lost weight. What are you doing?" And I said, "No, low to no sugar." And she had a Hostess cupcake next to her at her computer, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I can't do that." So I think I'm not alone when, I mean, the thought of not having sugar, not having sweets, not having, and not only that, but there's sugar like almost in everything. Eliminating that is so, I mean, it's astronomical. Like, how do you even do that? So I never thought it was possible. I thought that was too much. But in bed, I did a bunch of research on sugar and inflammation and fibromyalgia, and I'm so desperate, you guys. I was so desperate to get out of this pain that I was willing to try anything and everything. I was willing to do anything. So from that day, Matt came home from work. I asked him how his meeting went, and I showed him my research, and I said, I am going off sugar. I'm not going to take in white sugar anymore, at least the least amount of it as possible. And he's like, oh, okay. And I said, and I want to try Shakeology from Beachbody. I can't do all the workouts. It's too much for me. But I want to do the nutrition, the dense nutrition drink. And it was a lot of money. It was a lot of money. But I thought to myself, you know, my doctor had talked to me about Lyrica and narcotics and, you know, all of these doctor's appointments. And I figured with all the chocolates and the sweets and the and all the medications I would need, Shakeology probably wasn't that big of a cost. My diet at that time, guys, I ran on sugar and caffeine. Okay, so I would wake up in the morning and I would have 2 cups of coffee loaded with creamer and sugar. Then I would feed the kids. I'd get my chores done in the morning and maybe have a 3rd cup of coffee to get me really going. And now I have this sugar high and this caffeine high, and it gave me energy. It gave me fuel to get done what I needed. I'd feed the kids lunch. I might have a little lunch, but usually I'd grab a Coke, a pop out of the fridge, and then we'd go down and we'd homeschool. And then by the time I had to start making dinner, I'd be hurting again. So I'd grab another Coke or make another coffee or have a sweet tea and maybe, you know, snack on a little something maybe if I was nauseous because I hadn't eaten all day. I'd make dinner, you know, rush around, get everything done. And then by the time after dinner came, bam, like a ton of bricks, I'd be crippled. And I would need help off of the dinner chair. And from that point on, I would climb the walls. So I was not feeding my body. I was living on caffeine and sugar to fuel me, to give me my energy. And that's how I did. So I didn't have an overeating problem. I had an undereating problem. I had a nutrition problem. I had a sugar addiction problem. I had a caffeine addiction problem, which I've been nixing slowly. And now I'm off of coffee. Oh, I don't know what was harder, getting off of sugar or getting off of coffee, because both were very difficult for me. But from that day on, guys, I was done with sugar. I ordered the Shakeology and I was sick for 2 weeks. Like sick. I felt like I had the flu, sick. And sugar detox is no joke. I had a migraine. I had chills. I had body aches. I had nausea. I had diarrhea. I was sick. And the Shakeology came. I think I was 1 week into detox and I started taking it. And after 1 week on Shakeology and 2 weeks into my sugar detox, I felt, okay, I'm feeling better. And then 3 weeks from detox and 2 weeks into the Shakeology, I felt, wow, I have energy. I have a little energy. And the Shakeology for me, now if you want more information, you guys can hit me up privately. I'll leave my email down below. And if you guys want to see how I make my shake every day, let me know. I'll make you a video. But the Shakeology, the dense nutrition with the moringa and everything else the superfoods that I was not getting in my diet, really started making me feel better, to the point where I felt like, okay, I can maybe move my body. So, but I couldn't walk yet. Walking was still difficult for me. So Matt bought me a recumbent bike. It's a Schwinn. It's an old model. He bought it off of a guy at work for $100. And he brought it home. And I got on it and I biked a mile. And I thought I was going to die, you guys. It was so hard. I was out of breath. My butt hurt. I'm like, how can anybody sit on this longer than 10 minutes? My butt, my thighs, my legs. Oh my gosh, everything hurt so bad. And biking a mile forget about, I biked a mile and I said, I can't believe I biked a mile. That was the hardest thing I've ever done. And so, I said, I don't know if I can do this. This is so hard. And anytime something like that happens to me, I get even more determined to do it. So the next day I got up, I got on the bike, I biked another mile. And then the next day, another mile. And then the next day, another mile. And eventually, I worked up to 1.25 miles and 1.5 miles. And then almost 2 miles. And for the longest time, I could almost make it to 2 miles, but I just couldn't. And now, 5 months later, I bike 20 miles. It's amazing. It's amazing. So I started with the bike. Then from the bike, I went to Core Secrets. I had this old DVD from, I think the 1990s or early 2000s, something like that, with the exercise ball, and I bought myself little 3-pound weights at Walmart, and I did that 30 minutes every day. And then I would bike. So I would do the ball and the bike. And then from there, I started being able to walk. So I walked the house, and then eventually I started walking the driveway. And then for my birthday, which was May 4th, I turned 46, and I asked my husband for a Fitbit, my Fitbit. And he went in with my older boys, because that's all I wanted. I'm like, that's all I wanted. I don't want anything else. I just want a Fitbit. So they went in and they got me the Fitbit. And the Fitbit changed my life, you guys, because I could track my steps. I could track my water. I could track my exercise. I could track my food. Everything was right here, and to keep myself accountable. Because the one thing that I learned through all this was to be honest with yourself and to be accountable. You know, you're either going to do or you're not. You either want the change or you don't. Where I fit in the time, I do it in the morning. I try to do it in the morning. I get up. My alarm sets at 6 o'clock, and I allow myself to lay in bed till 6:30 a.m. and I get up before the kids get up, and I put in the me time, because I have to. Because if I'm not functioning, my whole family isn't functioning properly. Everybody kind of has to pitch in and help me, and I don't want that. I don't want that. So that's where I squeeze it in. You know, I thought to myself, well, how am I going to do this? Where am I going to squeeze this? I don't have time for this, but I made the time. And that means now I can't stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning answering comments on my YouTube or being as active on my social media. It means I have to go to bed, because I need the sleep for my body to repair, for my body to recover, so that I can get up early and do the work that it needs to be powerful. So, let's see. And I did write down some notes because I didn't want to forget anything. Okay, so then I moved up from the 3-pound weights to the 5-pound weights. And I found a girl on YouTube, on Instagram, and she's now on YouTube. So I'm going to leave her channel up above. Her name is Justine. She goes by the name Lean Justine, and she does these incredible little workouts. And I believe she used to weigh 300 pounds, I think. She lost an incredible amount of weight, and she's so inspiring to me, and I figured if she can do it, I can do it, right? So I started doing her workouts, and then I started doing workouts from a channel called HasFit. I'll leave that up above. Great for beginners, for weight training. I do a lot of weight training. I'm working a lot of my arms. I have heavy arms. I've talked about it before on my channel. So I work a lot of my arms. I work a lot on my legs and my butt. And so I like working with the weights. I enjoy that. From there, my husband bought me a Pilates reformer machine. So now I'm able to use my body, and it's not hard on my joints. And I can use my body weight now to work out. So I do Pilates. I swim. I'm lucky and thankful enough that I have a pool. So I swim. I do water aerobics. My friend Paul showed me some water aerobics to do with pool noodles. So I go out and do that during the day. And so I'm moving my body. I walk my driveway all the time. I walk around my house. If it's raining, I get on my bike. I'm just constantly trying to move. And between that, and then as far as my food, because a lot of you have asked me about my food, I don't eat anything different than my family. I do cook a little cleaner, I'll say a lot cleaner, less fats and oils and gravies and potatoes, all that comfort food. Bread, I've eliminated pretty much bread from my diet. Once in a while I'll have, you know, like a flatbread or maybe not a bagel thin, but I think they call them sandwich thins. I try to stick to whole grains. As far as what I eat, in the morning, I fast. Okay, so I do intermittent fasting, and I'll leave a channel up above. I can't remember the name of the channel, but I learned about intermittent fasting for women in their 40s. And I tell you, that has helped me so much. So after dinner, I don't eat. I used to snack, especially if I stayed up late to edit videos or to answer comments or, you know, to work on the social media. I used to, you know, little Dove chocolates and, you know, things like that. I don't do that anymore. Now, dinner is my last meal, and if I get hungry or if I get picky, snacky, I drink a glass of ice water at night. And then I go to bed. To be honest with you, I'm like, okay, my body wants to eat because it's telling me that it needs fuel because I'm up too much. So I'm going to bed. So I drink water. So from dinner time till about, I try to go, usually I go till 10 a.m. I really try to go till noon though, without eating. All I do is drink water. And I do my morning exercise. I drink a glass of ice water before I get started with that. And then I fast until, hopefully till noon, 10, 11, noon, something like that. And then I'll break my fast with bran flakes cereal with unsweetened almond milk. I know it's a carb, but I don't care. It makes me feel good. It keeps my body regular. I like it. I enjoy it. I'm not thinking of this as like a diet. This is just a new way of life for me to take care of my pain. So I eat bran flakes. For lunch, I'll do my Shakeology. Sometimes I'll just do my Shakeology shake. I add a banana usually to it. But sometimes I'll have half a cup of cottage cheese, or I'll have a little yogurt. Sometimes I'll have a half a sandwich if I'm really hungry, or I'll have a nice little salad that I pick from my garden. And then I do a dinner. Now, dinner, I cook the same for the family because I'm a busy mom, right? I'm homeschooling. I'm doing a lot of things. So the only difference is I eat more vegetables and lean protein, and I try to stick away from the carbs. I'll have a little bit. I'll have like a little bit. If I do potatoes for the family, I'll make myself a sweet potato. Things like that. Just different choices, better choices. I don't deprive myself of anything. So at any point where I'm like, I want that. If it's sugar, I'll remind myself that it's going to cause me pain. Is it worth it? And more than likely, 99% of the time, I don't eat it because it's not worth it to me. But like for Mason's birthday, I had a couple bites of birthday cake. I paid for it later with a flare, but it was his birthday and I wanted to partake in his birthday cake. So everything that I do, I don't plan out anything during the day. I take it day by day. So no long. Oh my gosh, my camera shut off and I don't even know where I was. Okay, let me start by saying this. The exercise I have noticed with my fibromyalgia. Usually when I started flaring, I would go and lay down. My instinct is to go lay down before it gets worse. What I find is if I don't move my body enough, my fibromyalgia stiffens up more. And for those of you who have fibromyalgia, you might notice this. Like if you sit too long, you start stiffening. You can't move. So many times now when I start flaring, I go for a walk. And when I go for a walk, I'm de-stressing. I'm kicking in the natural endorphins, the natural pain reliever. And more than likely, when I come back from my walk, my fibro flare is no more. It has stopped. It has calmed down. Now sometimes I flare because I'm tired, and so on those occasions I go and rest. But many times I might be sitting too long, I might be getting stressed out, sometimes I just need a walk. And I've noticed that waking up early in the morning and doing this for myself, taking out the time for myself to take care of myself, to work out, to spend some alone time with myself, has helped with my anxiety. It has helped with my stress. It has helped with my attitude, my mood overall. And I need it. I need it in order to be able to serve my family, and in order to serve my friends and my you guys, my YouTube family. It's very important, and I'm learning that it's okay to take time out for myself. So that's what I've been doing. So pretty much intermittent fasting, the Shakeology, is big for me because it gives me all the dense nutrition that I need, that I wouldn't necessarily get in my foods as far as vitamins and things. The unsweetened almond milk is huge for me because I used to drink whole milk. And portion control. So low carbs, low to no sugar, portion control, smaller portions, bigger portions of vegetables if you want, but smaller lean meats. So like I'm not doing keto or anything like that, and I don't do any, I try not to do like fatty meats, lean protein, lots of vegetables, low to no sugar, no caffeine now. I'm off the caffeine, and moving my body. And no excuses. No excuses. It's a big thing. I know several people have contacted me and wanted to talk about how I've lost weight. I've now lost 40 pounds in the past 5 months. I don't know how much more I will lose. That's secondary to me. I'm looking for pain control without having to take a bunch of medications and without having to take prescription medications like Lyrica. But no excuses. Being accountable to yourself and stopping the excuses. That's what I had to do, because I tell you, I could make an excuse for everything. I can't do it because of this, and I can't do it because of that, and oh, this is too hard, or this is too much, or I'm not feeling good. Because I tell you this, when you have fibromyalgia, you're never feeling good. When you have fibromyalgia, you live in chronic pain, chronic, constant pain that never ends. And so, to wrap this video up before it's way too long for you guys, I still have fibromyalgia. I still flare. Last night when I was filming a video, I was sitting at this window, the cold air set in, and my chest started getting all blotchy because my nerve endings are just like, blah, you know. So I still have fibro. I still have, you know, a dull ache in my body that hums. It's like a hum in the background all the time. But I can move. I can get down on the floor. I can play with my kids. I can get back up without needing assistance. I can stand for long periods of time. I can walk for long periods of time. I can move. And I will be honest with you guys, as far as my pain goes, 90% of it is gone. I know that other 10% will most likely never leave me. But 90% of my pain is gone and controlled through diet and exercise. And 5 months ago, I would have been like, that's crazy. Yeah, that's you. That's you. That's not going to work for me. But I was so desperate to try. I was desperate to try anything. And so I gave this a try. And I am shocked every day of how I feel. I'm shocked by the smaller clothes I'm able to fit in. It's crazy. This shirt is a medium. I've never worn a medium in my life. I think the last time I wore a medium, I might have been in 6th grade. I'm not kidding you. I've always been, you know, very voluptuous, meaty woman. So those changes are all wonderful and good, and you know, but it's the pain. It's the pain that matters the most to me. And the fact that at 10 o'clock at night, I'm still up walking around the house, finishing up chores, being able to tuck my kids in at night, where before I couldn't, because I couldn't walk that far. I couldn't walk that much at night. It's life-changing. So I'm making this video in hopes that this reaches somebody who needed to hear it, somebody who needed to know that you're not alone. And this is a very vulnerable topic for me, because this is my health. This is my wellness. And it's very it's very hard to share vulnerable parts, especially on the internet. But it's worth exposing my innards to you guys if it helps somebody else to know that you're not alone in your feelings. If you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling like it's unbearable, like it's never going to get better for you. I don't know if what I did will help you, but just in case, I had to share it. I had to share it because the pain warriors on my channel have held me up for years now. You guys have been my cheer squad. And now I want to do it for you. If I can help any one of you who are struggling with chronic pain from fibromyalgia, I'm here for you. So I will leave my email down below. You guys, I don't have high-speed internet, so everything I do is through my phone, and I live in a high tourist area, so pretty much my phone is useless on the weekends when all the campers are here. But I am rooting for you, and I will be your cheerleader, and I have your back, and you're not alone, because fibromyalgia can be extremely isolating. Unless you have it, you don't know, you can't comprehend how bad it can get. And everybody's fibro is different, and everybody's solution to fibro is different. Somebody did ask me if bread affected my fibro. It doesn't. I tried taking bread out of my diet. That wasn't the trigger for me. It was processed sugar. So I eat fruit, I eat vegetables, I eat carbs, but I try to eat healthy carbs, and I try to eat only more natural sugars. For a long time, I only allowed myself 1 tablespoon of coffee creamer because I knew I had sugar in it for my coffee, but now I've eliminated coffee from my diet. So, yeah, I think that's it. If you guys have any questions for me, leave them down below. If I have to, I'll make another video. Like I said, if you want to see how I make my shake, or if you have more questions about that, you can hit me up down below as well, thekneadyhomesteader@gmail.com, and I will try to answer those questions for you. But yeah, you're not alone. So, and here I am, and here I keep going. So with that, I'm going to wrap this up, guys. I hope this was helpful to somebody. I saw so many of you asking for this video, and God really laid it on my heart that I needed to make this to help somebody out there. So if you're that person, then this video is for you, and I thank you for watching. All right, guys, I'll be seeing you soon. Bye.